Hi, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome back to the Brad Show. And today I want to talk about hope. Somebody had asked me if I could talk about this concept of hope and how it's used in Buddhist contexts or whether it's used at all. Because one could get the idea that a philosophy that emphasizes only what is happening in the now would have no use for any sort of belief in hope, because hope sort of implies things that happen in the future. So, to begin with, I looked up the word hope as it is used in the Nishijima Cross version of Shobo Genzo, and I found several examples, lots of examples, all throughout all four books, and I'd like to give a few of those for you at the beginning. Here we go. After the ancestral master, that's Bodhidharma, came from the West, he directly cut confusion and spread the unadulterated Buddha Dharma. We should hope that the same thing will happen in our country, which is Japan. Here's another one. Now, in recommending the practice in which Bodhi is directly experienced, that's Zazen, I hope to demonstrate the subtle truth that the Buddhist patriarchs have demonstrated one-to-one and thus make you into people of the real state of truth. And here's another one. Therefore, though they have wasted precious time in the past, as long as their present life continues, they should, this is practitioners of Buddhism, without delay, make the following vow. I hope that I, together with all living beings, may hear the right Dharma through this life and through every life hereafter. And here's another one which I've heard actually chanted in Zen temples. Once this Bodhi mind is established, abandoning our former playthings, we hope to hear what we have not heard before, and we seek to experience what we have not experienced before. This is not solely of our own doing. So as you can see, the word hope has a lot of different meanings depending on the context in which it's used. So I kind of asked myself, what word was Nishijima, Roshi, and Mike Cross translating as hope? And probably the main word is kibo, which is a standard Japanese word that's pretty close to hope. It in almost all the contexts in which kibo is used, it's kind of the same thing as the word hope. So it's a nice direct translation. But there's also another word which is often translated as hope when people get into translating Dogen, and that is inoru. And inoru is often translated as pray. So some translators will prefer pray. We should pray to hear what we have not heard before, and etc., rather than hope. And this inoru prayer is, it comes from Shintoism. So it's the Shinto type of prayer, which is a kind of animistic, I guess is what you call it, when you pray to the gods for rain, or you pray for a good harvest and this kind of thing. That's the kind of prayer that comes from. So the word has a lot of different meanings. My girlfriend was saying that she thinks the word hope means the belief that a situation can change for the better. And I think that's another good definition of hope. The idea that we as Buddhists should just get rid of hope might sound good intellectually if you're saying, well, we should only concentrate on the now and hope has no place in the now. But I think hope has a real strong place in the present moment. Because, for example, we all, I assume, I definitely hope that this situation with the coronavirus will improve, and will improve quickly before everything falls apart. I hope that they begin studies on antibody testing, which I just heard just today are supposed to start in Santa Clarita, which is just north of here, next week, I believe, or this week maybe even. So that would change the picture of what the virus is, how long it's been around, how many people have it, and all sorts of things we would learn from these antibody tests. So I hope that those tests begin quickly, and I hope that they uncover things that are positive for combating this. And because I have these hopes, I feel better. And because I feel better, then I can do what I do in a better way. I don't have to be freaked out all the time. So there's nothing specifically wrong with having hope. And the fact that Dogen uses hope the way he does lets us know that he also believed that this was an important thing, that we should have a kind of confidence that things can turn out in a good way. And because of having that confidence that things can turn out in a good way, we will take real action in the present moment to make that happen. The contrast to hope, when I looked it up in an English-to-English dictionary, was despair. And I see a lot of despair out there. I have a particular friend back in Akron who, I see his Facebook posts all the time, and he's just full of despair these days. And I hope it gets better for him. But if you despair, if you have too much of that negative sort of view that the future can only be worse than now, the chances that you are going to work to improve things are lessened. You're not going to have much motivation to work to improve things unless you have some kind of hope that your work to improve things can bear fruit, can work out. So I encourage hope. I think hope is one of our best hopes. And I like hearing hopeful scenarios, and I like hearing hopeful news. It doesn't matter that much if it's true or not sometimes. This is maybe a little controversial, but I think it matters that we are working towards a better solution, and that having hope will make that happen. One of the things that really bugs me about the news cycle, and one of the reasons I'm refusing to watch most news sources these days, and I don't even want to speculate on the reasons, but I feel like there is a strong push towards despair among a lot of the people who are writing the news currently, and an encouragement towards making the public more despairing than they are. And I don't see how any good can come of this. I really don't. I don't understand why you would push despair. Maybe it's this idea that we must tell the truth, and the truth is that everything's awful. But that isn't going to get people motivated to do anything to fix the awful situation. They're just going to be more inclined to sort of roll over and die or something. And we don't want that, especially now. We want some kind of hope. And that's how I feel hope fits into this whole Buddhist thing. And as far as the present moment is concerned, that's where it happens. The hope is something that happens in the present moment. Hope is something that is going on now. You project it into the future as an idea of something that will happen later on, but it affects what you do now, and that's where hope is important. And this is why I think Dogen, in his writings, also emphasizes that we should have certain hopes. So there you go. That's my little lecture about hope. And as I always say, I leave my PayPal and Patreon links below, and I hope that people will donate. But I also hope that people will not donate if they're too freaked out about their financial situations and too worried. So don't feel obligated or anything, or don't feel like you need to do that. And if you want to donate some toilet paper to me, we're getting low. So write to me, and I'll give you the address if you want to send a 4-pack of toilet paper, because you can't find them for love or money in Los Angeles. But there you go. That's what's going on now, and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you again later soon. Have a nice day.